Colleen Ballinger. Who isn't talking about this wumpy, yumpy, dumpy, pumpy, Fumpy? We got Nick. We got Gabby. We even got Jake Doolittle, the guy who talks to animals. But I'm not here to talk about the dumpster fire that was Colleen's apology, nor am I here to bash anyone for capitalizing off of her demise. In fact, you know, get that fatty bag. No, see, I do things a little differently here at Andy King Incorporated. When you give me a trending topic, I say, no. Too relevant. Because who would I be if I just sat here and talked about her playing the ukulele for 20 minutes, you know? Well, probably a couple $1,000s richer, let's be real. But today we're talking about Haters Back Off, a show created by Colleen Ballinger revolving around her character Miranda Sings. And guess what? It has 2 seasons. There have been a few articles and tweets that have come out about the production of the show, talking about how she stripped down an Asian grocery store to make it look more like a bodega, and saying that she didn't want people of color in the background. That is all very word of mouth. I don't know if we can trust that information. So let me just cut to the chase here. I sat down and recorded myself watching the entire first season of her show. And you may be wondering, Andy, what? Well, multiple times throughout this process, I asked myself the same question. Why? Regardless of what it was worth, though, I think it's only going to make this breakdown better. So buckle up, strap in, tie yourself to a tree. I don't care, because now it's time for us to shut up and hop in. Okay, episode 1. Kill me now. Watching the opening of the first episode now is quite a bizarre experience.
Hey guys, it's me, Miranda. I'm from Tacoma, Washington.
It's just so weird. I'm like a couple seconds into the first episode, and it's like, it's so weird now knowing everything about her and watching this. It is a different level of discomfort. I had to do my best to separate myself from all the drama because I really wanted to look at this show through a critical lens, as I usually do. But guys, this show hammers in consistently creepy and uncomfortable situations in a way that barely allows you to do that. Let me show you. It starts with Miranda making her first video on YouTube, and it was around this time, about 1.5 minutes in, that I made one of my most damning discoveries about the Netflix TV app. Can't speed it up. I can't watch it in fast speed. Filming the video is her uncle Jim, and they pretty instantly established the creepiest relationship between them possible.
That was incredible.
You guys think this is the same guy who helped her film How to Sing Like a Black Woman? Anyway, they slapped that John online, giving us our first of way too many sexual jokes, and they quickly discover that the video isn't getting any views. Miranda goes outside to meet Patrick, her ice cream dealer and not so secret admirer, and he's just as much of a creep as Miranda.
50 cents, please.
But this, to me, is just super ineffective. I just don't understand the appeal of, like, why every single character has to be so creepy. Well, I mean, I do, but, like, I just don't care. It's kind of true, though, because I understand that all these characters are supposed to be a little funky, but when you constantly jam uncomfortable situations down people's throats, it gets old really fast. This is proven seconds later when we have to watch Miranda eat a popsicle, much like a mindless child who just took a shit in a public pool. See, that's weird. That's weird. Knowing what I know, that's ugh. And sure, when you watch this happen for the first time, there is a little bit of comedy to it, but guys, I can't wait for you to see just how many times they run this joke into the ground. Weirdly enough, I don't mean to give this any credit, but I guess I am, because I'm about to. I don't mind how this is shot. It's actually kind of shot in an interesting way. I really hope that's the only good sentiment I have about this. Well, I can confirm that it is. Awesome. Let's keep moving. Oh shit, it's the lady from The Office. Damn, that's really unfortunate for her. She's been in a lot of good stuff. This is, I want to know what she thinks about this whole situation that's going on right now. So yeah, Angela plays the mom, Bethany, and her whole personality is based around her self-diagnosed fibromyalgia. Not only that, but she is absolutely obsessed with trying to make her fake disability sexy. So many things about that are just not okay, but you know, as we've seen in the first 7.5 minutes, that's not gonna stop the show, is it?
Learn how to grade papers next time, Mom, okay?
Oh, that is not nope. See, I'm gonna give it the first pause right there. That's fucked up. If I sat down with my child, and by the way, we're not even 10 minutes in yet, we're about 7.5 minutes in. If I sat down with my child and saw the cinnamon bun cum shot 7 minutes in, yeah, no. TV's turning off, bucko. In this scene, we also meet Emily, Miranda's sister, and she's the only normal character on the show, so that is, well, that's unfortunate. We'll get more into her later, but all you really need to know is that she's the character that basically keeps keeps everyone in check. Miranda's video starts getting more views, so they get really excited, but Miranda and Jim get too excited.
You don't stop until you've transmitted that virus to every single one of your fans.
Sounds fun.
Miranda shows up at Emily's school to do a meet and greet because she thinks she's famous now, and we learn that while Emily goes to school, Miranda is homeschooled. A little research will show that Colleen was also homeschooled, and I don't mean to generalize, but this would probably explain why she's so self-absorbed. I have friends that are homeschooled, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I don't think that that always happens to people that are homeschooled, but I gotta say, love those friends, but they do weird shit sometimes. Miranda gets a hate comment, and then they have a group panic attack, and then we have to watch her throttle a can of Vienna sausages.
No, I gotta go on television right now. There's a killer.
Oh God, please. I wonder how many times I'm gonna have to watch her eat food in like the most disgusting way possible. Episode 1. Episode 1. Later in the episode, they go to shoot a commercial for the fish store that Uncle Jim works at, and Colleen entirely breaks character for a second.
Is it safe for me to come in?
That's just fully not in character. Good job. Patrick pulls up with swords to protect Miranda from the hater. Bethany tries to hit on a delivery guy. Miranda body shames the delivery guy.
I know, he's like pudgy, it's weird.
Then the owner of the fish shop shows up only to get attacked by Patrick. But all of a sudden, Emily stops the drama to reveal that she left the hate comment. Then we get launched into a scene at home between Miranda and Emily that for me sort of defeats the entire purpose of the Miranda Sings character.
Miranda, listen. No, Emily, you listen.
Like, she's talking completely normally right now. It completely defeats the purpose of the character to give it like a grounded moment like this. Yeah, like, isn't the whole point of the character that she's so just like not self-aware that's why she keeps doing this? The episode basically ends with Miranda receiving real hate comments, so she breaks the computer, and now we're here. Now, my big argument about this show is that we just watched 30 minutes of a Miranda Sings origin story. Why do we need to see 7 episodes more? I think we can all agree that the Miranda Sings character is almost entirely one note, so let's be real, the show is pointless. Oh, thank God I made it through the first episode. I can't believe I just watched that go down with 0 expression. This is really just killing me. I wanted to go more detailed on episode 1 because I feel like it gives us all the exposition we need to sort of glide through the rest of them. I could sit here and give you a breakdown of each individual episode, but the truth is that nothing significant or funny actually happens in this show. In fact, as I sat down to watch the show for the first time, I just found myself getting more and more confused as to why an expansion on this character was needed. Okay, I'll give it this. A movie could work. But it is absolutely bizarre to me that enough content was created to milk this for 2 entire seasons. So that being said, let's get funky. I'll start moving a little quicker in a second, you know, because I'm cool, because I want to. But the opening to episode 2 really makes you think.
Oh, really, Ryan 498? You think just because you're speaking in Asian?
Excuse me? What did she say? How was that clear? This came out in 2016. Oh, that's probably why it was clear. I'm sorry, I digress. Wow, what a fucked start. So the whole premise for this episode is basically Miranda's decision to quit after one video. Uncle Jim gives a backstory about his high school cheerleading days, but he failed miserably by essentially softcore shooting up the school with a fireworks grand finale. And you have to understand, I mean, after watching just one episode of this, you sort of lose full interest in all of the characters. I mean, look at this time lapse. Look how antsy I got watching. I'm a little antsy fuck. Oh, also, I totally forgot about the whole Miranda being a Jesus freak thing, but yeah, they go to church, and while Miranda basically prays for her haters to get killed, her mom is thirsting over the pastor. Miranda falls in love with this guitar player from the church choir named Owen, and he has one of the most punchable faces I have ever seen, so I don't give a shit about him. In an attempt to get close to him, she joins the choir, and I don't know if this is a reach, but based on what we now know about Colleen, the way she treats him is very, very disturbing.
You smell so good. Owen, you're so funny. Always playing this game where we call each other by the wrong name. Right, Owen?
That was a little close to the N-word. I didn't like that one too much.
Maybe I can rub off on you.
There it is again. Fucking rubbing off. Didn't she have like the whole character thing of being like, of having like boyfriends and stuff? And wasn't it always the worst people like James Charles? So Miranda gets kicked out of the choir by the pastor while Bethany prepares to go to a church singles night to see the pastor. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, well, the pastor character seems normal. You know, that'll probably be fine. But guys, you really gotta wait. Okay, you gotta wait. There's a scene in this episode that literally, and I'm not exaggerating, does not contribute to or move the plot forward in any way. Also, the setup is just super fucked.
How's it going, my main man? Well, it's me, Jim, from the chat room.
Yeah, no, I see what they were trying to do here. Jim has a bunch of random collectibles that he's trying to sell, then out of nowhere, the guy asks if he can buy his car for $500. Jim takes the money and runs away.
Sold! No takebacks!
And because that scene just has nothing to do with the overall plot, I can firmly say that, you know what? It was a good sketch, all right? Good job, guys. No way Colleen wrote that. Yeah, so that pastor.
Yeah, she decided it would be best for everyone if she just stayed away from the choir for a while.
He's a fucking asshole. But guys, remember what I said earlier, okay? Okay, you still gotta wait. Miranda shows up to singles night and embarrasses herself, sort of similar to this. Then Owen locks her out of the theater, pretending that the door is stuck shut. I would vibe with him on this, but I still really want to punch him. The episode ends with another weirdly serious moment, this time between Miranda and her mom, and through this, she decides to try YouTube again. You know, on the whole subject of the, the Miranda sings thing, I don't understand how, like, it never got old. Is every episode just gonna be creepiness, sexual jokes, and then being obsessed with guys? Like, every single female character being obsessed with guys? I'll tell you what, this does not pass the Bechdel test. You did a bad job, Colleen Ballinger. Well, here's how episode 3 opens.
That's how the models do it.
How's it look?
It opens with Emily asking Miranda to sing for their aunt at the retirement home, but apparently she doesn't even remember having an aunt. So she says no, but to convince her otherwise, do you want to take just a wild guess as to what kind of joke Uncle Jim makes to convince her?
You don't want to wake up one morning and realize that you never got the chance to get all their stuff.
Incest! We get another ice cream dealing scene, but this time Patrick is mad at Miranda for liking the church guy, so he charges her. And if you were waiting for it to happen again, because I know I was. No. We get to watch Miranda suckle a popsicle with potentially more force than that. Oh, by the way, I don't know why I didn't clock this until episode 3 because we've had to watch it like 3 times. But the popsicle that she's eating, I'm pretty sure is supposed to be a foot and the gumball is supposed to be an infected wart. So there you go again. Yep, keep that in mind. Hope you're eating dinner watching this. Okay, so he's starting to become a little shifty, right? Now it's looking like the feelings between, oh, and his name is Keith. I forgot to mention that. His name is Keith. Keith and Bethany are starting to form a little chemistry. And by a little, I mean a lot. I mean too much.
Oh, well, we'll see about that.
Is this guy gonna have like a fetish for disabled people? Certainly don't want to see that. Well, you have to, because despite my jokes, this is actually part of the plot. I will say that this moment is a little more subtle, but when you combine this with moments like the speaking Asian moment from the second episode, you start to realize that they're getting away with a little too much here. Oh yeah, here's another thing I probably should have mentioned. This show is rated PG.
Wait, no, wait, what?
I realize that may have strengthened my points a bit more if I said that in the beginning, but hey, who doesn't love a good reveal, am I right? Yeah. Additionally, it took me watching 3 whole episodes of this show to even question the rating, so, imagine that. Fear, yeah, I'm definitely feeling that. Language, I think maybe the most adult word they've said so far is pervert at one point.
Don't be a pervert.
Suggestive dialogue and violence. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm just not aware of how ratings work, but with the exception of Fear, I feel like this show deserves at least a TV-14 rating. Whatever. Hey, so I have some questions about those Persian cats. At the old folks' home, Miranda sings Danny Boy and their aunt damn near kills herself. Then Miranda and Jim discover that there's an old Hollywood director present in the nursing home. Patrick goes to the church to confront Owen about his feelings for Miranda, but Owen has no clue who she is. And it's now that I'm becoming very angry because I don't like looking at this guy. But it would now seem that he's becoming a main character, so that sucks. They finally gain access to the old Hollywood guy, and then Jim tells him that Miranda has the voice of an obese Viking woman.
Miranda has the voice of an obese Viking princess.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird, right? Like, it's a little bit too much. But anyway, Miranda literally kills him. Yes, her performance is actually so bad that the poor sack of shit just passes away. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a little second to breathe here. Just calm down for a second, do what you want. Look, I have the show going on back here. Oh, guess what? We get another ice cream scene, 2 in 1 episode. Holy shit! She's on the phone with the nephew of the Hollywood guy who's asking asking if someone can perform the eulogy for him, and for some reason, it's Ben Stiller. Hope he took this one off his credits. They plan the eulogy in the garage, which Emily is naturally very nervous about, but guess what Miranda finds in there?
Oh, the daddy saddle.
Sorry, I spaced out. What is that? Daddy saddle? I think I said this before, but one thing that I find so creepy about this is that they're glorifying a predatory relationship between an uncle and his niece. I can understand it just like being a small, funny part of the plot, but what I don't understand is why they proceed to build a plot and relationship around them that the audience is supposed to root on. Part of the joke of this video is drawing fun comparisons based on what we now know about Colleen, but I think it's safe to say that she has a weird tendency to try and normalize things like this. A good relationship between an uncle and a niece is fine. A predatory one is not. Why am I being so serious about this? Shut the fuck up. At the grocery store, Keith returns with a gift for Bethany. It's a sling, and this dude thinks it's the hottest shit ever.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
So yeah, this guy just straight up has a disability kink. If they really wanted to Always Sunny this show and intentionally make all of the characters awful people, they should have just stuck with it. No, instead these ideas and bits of dialogue are like low-key offensive. Like I said, y'all are, you're teetering the line here. At church, they literally make a cum joke.
She said she's glad and she came.
Miranda tries to perform, Emily yells at her, and it all goes to shit. Guys, this is the same gimmick as episode 1, except this time no one learns anything, and that's how it ends.
And there you go, right there. You know what? I would have taken that as a 3-episode miniseries. Literally ends with a YouTube video, and it could be like, boom, now we're in the present.
Right, wouldn't a miniseries just be great? Yeah, that would mean I would just get to stop right here, go to the bathroom, take a painfully cold shower. Guys, my water pressure is like illegally high. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case. In fact, I got so upset on my first watch through of this, finding out that that wasn't the case, that I stopped filming my reactions after episode 3. And this is for a few reasons. Number 1, I'd been sitting in front of a camera for an hour and a half watching this show. What else was I supposed to say? And number 2, the truth is that after episode 3, the show pretty much just doesn't matter anymore. So folks, as usual, I'll be your captain for the rest of the flight as we break down the rest of this series in, dear God, the quickest way possible. Episode 4 opens with them shooting another video, but all of a sudden Keith walks in doing laundry, so you already know what's going down here. Everyone gets super pissed by this, so Keith calls a family meeting to let everyone know that him and Bethany are mashing meat in secret. Kind of funny that the show wants to make that the problem though, considering that Miranda and Jim just got finished with private video time.
After that, you barge in my room and you interrupt my private video time with my uncle.
Keith tries to smooth things over by telling Miranda that he can get her a gig at a local theater, which freaks out Uncle Jim, so he lies and tells her he booked a better venue as a surprise. Not only that, but he also tells Miranda that he has a tour bus, which is, you guessed it, the same creepy van that every creepy uncle has. Emily thinks that Bethany needs to chill with the whole fake injury thing because Keith may actually be a nice guy, but she can't think about that. She's too distracted by him being a sick freak.
Hope you don't mind, but I threw in a few of my things in the wash.
In fact, most of what we learn in this episode is that he's absolutely fucked in the head, especially later on when it's revealed that he is undeniably into disabilities. I genuinely just want to know what, like, anyone under the age of 14 would think of this scene. Seriously. It could be a SpongeBob type deal where, like, the writers are sneaking in jokes that'll go over kids' heads every now and then, but I don't think that's the case when it happens every 5 goddamn seconds. He later gifts Bethany a hover round, even though she's fully able to walk, so at this point, he's just trying to make her as disabled as possible. Needless to say, the performance goes horribly once again, but they still manage to win the $100 cash prize, which Miranda rejects for some reason. And that's pretty much all that happens in this episode. Well, that and Jim and Miranda undressing for each other backstage at the karaoke bar. Please keep going, please. I bet that joke will be funny the 50th time. The next 3 episodes are pretty much like really useless to the plot, so I'm sure you guys won't mind if I just skim through them a bit. Episode 5 is essentially the bottle episode. Bethany has the idea to put on a living room production of Annie starring Miranda, and the whole thing takes place in the house. house. That being said, nothing of importance really happens in this episode, but we do find out that Uncle Jim literally just lives outside of the house in what he calls his bedroom. The only other thing I really wanted to point out from this episode is this one part where Uncle Jim claims that Daddy Warbucks is the romantic lead of Annie, once again implying incest.
You promise to find the girl's parents as long as she'll kiss you in return.
And then we arrive at episode 6. This episode is also rather dim-witted. This time Miranda decides that she wants to become a magician. In her audition for the magic show, Miranda, for the 20 billionth time, eats a suggestive food in a grotesque manner.
Watch this.
And guys, I know that oftentimes I'm rather critical of repeated bits in movies and TV shows, you know, for the sake of the writing.
Unnecessary bit.
But I really just don't get this one. This entire show had to have been written in a single session because I don't see a universe in which the writers sat down every day and said, all right, guys, come on, we're almost done. We can do this. Someone's got to come up with a good idea. Okay, so we're all agreed on the food bit again? So they do this big magic act at the end, but the grand finale is making Patrick and Bethany disappear while Miranda shoves swords into the box. And I'm sure you can assume what happens next. Both of these poor fuckers get stabbed, putting both of them in the hospital. So, episode 7. It starts off with Patrick finally asking Miranda out on a date to, quote, see if they're compatible for marriage, and Miranda says no because she can only date famous people. Bethany pretty much spends the entirety of this episode experiencing withdrawals because she's been trying to get off of the pills that she's apparently been popping, so, you know, now this show is just getting all kinds of fucked. Honestly, pretty happy about it. Jim and Miranda go to a mattress store at one point where they meet the store owner, Maureen, who is played by a man. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad about a man playing a woman or vice versa, but knowing what we know about Colleen and her history and the portrayal here, it just seems a little bit offensive. But now that Bethany's off the pillies, she is a full-blown freak, immediately taking Keith to the back of the grocery store to make out. But uh-oh, guess what Keith is now thrown off by?
You don't have on your wrist brace.
No.
And you know what, guys? Now this just, you know, it makes complete sense. Come on, I mean, he's a creepy pastor with a depraved fantasy. I mean, let's give it up for realism, right? Right? Hey, no booing, no booing. At the end, Miranda rides in a town parade atop, oh, fuck. Oh, God. It's the daddy saddle.
Oh, I have it in me. I have it deep in me.
Do I even have to comment on it anymore? Like, is it really worth it? The episode ends with the float blowing up, but when Miranda goes inside to save Patrick, they finally kiss. Who fucking cares? And now we can slow down because finally we've reached episode 8. The finale. If the show couldn't get any crazier, episode 8 decides to be almost entirely depressing out of nowhere. I forgot to mention this in the magic show episode, but while Miranda was doing her bullshit, Emily was busy doing a showcase to get into art school. But when she goes into her bag to pull her art out, it's all been replaced by art that Miranda made because she didn't think that Emily's art was good enough. So Emily goes off on Miranda, and Miranda just doesn't feel bad. Also, remember how I said that Bethany was popping pills for no reason? Well, I guess I wasn't paying that much attention because it turns out that her kidneys are failing. So, oops, sorry. Wow. Bethany goes to admit this to Emily, but she's in the process of leaving home, so looks like she missed her shot at a bonding moment. Owen asks Miranda to help him with a big moment at his Christian CD release concert, saying that he wants her to present him with a ring box for his big moment. Miranda, of course, takes this as him wanting to propose to her. So yeah, it's gonna go horribly. And I'm not gonna sit here and break down every detail of every depressing moment that happens in this show, but I can let you know that everything goes to shit. Miranda breaks up with Patrick for Owen, fires Jim, and then pretty much just gets absolutely humiliated at the concert when she finds out the proposal isn't for her. But arguably the saddest and weirdest moment in the episode is at the end when Bethany and Miranda have this huge argument and the Miranda character just entirely disappears.
Nothing, Mom. Nothing else you want to say to me? Mom!
Do you want to know why I wasn't there, Miranda?
So basically, the show just waited an entire season to actually do anything with the plot. You could argue that this episode is actually rather interesting because it humanizes all the characters, but when you get hit with it all at once, it's just super confusing. So does the show do a good job at setting up a season 2? By all technical standards, yes, but it raises the same question that I've had this entire time. Why? We don't need to see a season 2 after everything we just witnessed. And by the way, we most certainly do not need to see a season 3 based on the fact that a lot of season 2 is based off of real life events. I also think it's worth mentioning that from a purely objective standpoint, I don't think that this is a bad show. There's good acting, there's some good writing, but the whole Colleen thing has just ruined it. The character gets stale, the sex jokes get stale, and it doesn't function at a certain point. I guess if this video is commenting on anything from Colleen's apology, it's the argument that she made that her content has never been for children. We're talking about a show here that is quite literally rated PG, and by that standard, you can't escape that fact that it's for children. It's weird, and knowing everything we do, it just doesn't make this show feel any better. Oh, and by the way, I didn't really like it. But what do you think of my take? Do you want me to cover season 2 at some point? Let me stop you right there. I'm not going to. Let's let someone else do that. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you could like and subscribe and comment and stuff, interaction. Does it get lame when I say that in every video? But anyway, guys, that's all I have for you this time. But until next time, I was running the show in the background the whole time. Look, there's Keith. It looks like we got to episode 3, maybe? I think this is episode 3. Who cares? That was a stupid outro.